That's what
There.
Brian says to JoJo in bed. Bam. And she's like, no, it's not there yet.
Now everybody just heard that on the
I know
live.
it's on here.
Oh, my bad.
It's all right. How's it going, everybody? So we've got Ghost Mafia, we've got Red Crib tonight, we got JoJo Walker, we got Lunatic Dad, and myself. And tonight we are going to be talking a lot about the Amityville horror.
Well, Amityville.
Well, Amityville itself.
Holy crap, look at your chat just filling up.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, make sure that you're smashing that like and tweeting this out.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right, well, I'm just, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
Welcome to all the people in the chat.
What the heck?
What?
You got how
My
many
chat's
people?
like popping in and out.
That's what I'm saying. Just so you guys know. Just so you guys know, Google and YouTube are glitching like crazy tonight. Been happening for the last couple days. So if something screws up, blame YouTube.
What's up, everybody?
It's broken.
Yeah, it's broken. There we go. The chat's kind of starting to stay up now.
All right, let's get on the ball with this.
Oh, yeah. So, hey, Natural Ice.
Oh, that's gone.
It's going good, Michael Grooms. It's been doing this all day. Yeah, Ann. I see. Yeah, so Amityville Horror.
Amityville.
Well, Amityville.
No, horror. That's just what the movie's called.
Are we back in? Because I keep getting kicked out. I get kicked out all the time. How far are you? I mean, never mind. We're talking about Amityville House.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Dakota. Hey, Cows fam. We've got Becky. We've got
the Anna Nicole channel.
The Anna Nicole channel. Michael Grooms. West Star Productions, Urban Explorer, Country Girl Paranormal, Kenneth the Kentucky Fam, Dustin Cobb, The Daily D and Mysteries, Rosie Darkstorm.
Got a whole bunch of amazing channels in here.
If I've missed anybody, sorry.
I do have to let Anna know that I did email her back.
Yeah. Has been done. So,
ring, ding-a-ling.
You and Ghost can touch base on the whole start of it.
I will do it. Listen, guys. So today when I was live, Will B brought up the subject about Amityville. Okay? He wanted to know my take on it. I told him to save it for tonight and we would discuss it on Brian's channel. Now, myself and Ghost have actually read the case files. We've watched the movies, but we've actually researched like the actual files and stuff like that. Brian, Dad, and RK only have seen the movies.
Yeah.
So we're basically going to go on everybody's take, whether it's the movie that you saw, or if you actually read the stuff, like did the research on it, or anything like that, and get everyone's take on it.
Yeah.
Well said. Well spoken, JoJo.
I'm going to be honest with you. When I first seen Amityville, I really thought that was like fake as hell. I'm not going to lie. And I didn't think, but I don't know anything, like what you guys know as far as reading the case files and everything. I just thought it was just one freaking creepy-ass movie coming up and seeing that house that scared the shit out of me always. I mean, even now, if I watch it, that damn house, it's something about it it just senses like there's freaking evil there. It just looks evil.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think part of that is given the history, okay? Hi, Anna. Much love, hun. So, given the history on the place, if anybody's actually read up on it, the DeVeo, there we go, I can't fucking speak tonight. They were the family that lived there. And do you want to kick off the story there, Ghost?
Well, I mean, to start it out, okay, you got to have the history of the DeFeo family itself, okay? The old man who had several kids, Robert DeFeo, which is the person who is blamed for the murders at the Amityville house, an older daughter, and like 3 other younger children. Okay. Now, this man, he was an alcoholic for one. He was abusive to not only his wife, his family, his daughter. Um, Ronnie had actually moved out of the house and was staying with friends, was constantly coming back, hitting up his dad for money or robbing his dad's office for money or whatnot. The daughter was in a relationship with somebody that her dad didn't like, so her dad threw her out of the house, was very abusive to her. I mean, this was a clearly dysfunctional family that was well-to-do, but everything went bad. I mean, Robert DeFeo ended up into some trouble. He needed a lot of money real fast. He went to his father, asked him for the loan. His father said, "It's time to stand on your own 2 feet." And, the daughter was to where her dad had pretty much disowned her and wasn't allowed to come around or see her mother, and just all kinds of dysfunction in this household at the time. And it all culminated together and what had happened was, now, according to the book and the movies, Robert DeFeo was hearing voices that told him to kill his whole family, and that's what happened. Now, in the case files, there's some speculation that, Ronnie DeFeo, a friend who had been messing around with Ronnie's sister, and his sister went into that house with the intention to rob their father and possibly murder him, make it look like some kind of accident or something, so that they could collect on insurance or whatever the case might be. And things went terribly wrong. Speculation is speculation. I know that they never found the murder weapons and things like that. There has been some research into that case since then. They have recovered a rifle and a pistol from a canal nearby where supposedly the friend had disposed of the weapons.
Wow.
Unfortunately, after 40 some years laying at the bottom of a canal, the degradation on the firearms and things has been so much that, they can't really prove whether those are the actual murder weapons or not.
Yeah.
So, but let's see what everybody else thinks.
Now, hold on now. You got to give them the rest. Okay? Don't forget that 13 months later, after all that happened, the Lutz family purchased the house.
Yep.
Okay? At a reduced price. And it was because of those murders that it was reduced. So they got that house for $80,000. Okay? It lasted 28 days before they left there. And what they had said was that they experienced paranormal activity, which propelled the legend of Amityville Horror. And that's when Lorraine and Ed Warren got involved. Now, I did read some of the Warren stuff as well, and they claimed that the house was so active that the sewing room that the mother had, actually the walls would bleed on their own with no explanation. Okay, they would hear screams, they would hear crying, they would hear banging on the walls and like doors slamming, and they actually took pictures in the house. And in one of the pictures, back then Photoshop didn't exist. So in one of the pictures, there's a little boy seen peeking around the corner that matches the face of this little boy matches the youngest son of the DeVeo that was actually killed in that room.
I'm not saying that the house isn't haunted, but I think when the Lutzes decided that, now the Lutzes were the ones that decided that they wanted to write a book about the history of the house. And they actually went to the prison where Ronnie DeFeo was and had talked to Ronnie DeFeo and had interviews with Ronnie DeFeo to get his take on what had happened that night. And of course, Ronnie's going to be, whether Ronnie did it alone or he had accomplices, he's going to cover for those accomplices, especially his sister. Okay, so he basically fed him a line of BS saying, I was hearing voices and I don't remember any of it and blah, 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 and I don't know why I'm here. And then they had Ed and Lorraine's part in it, and the book really got the publishers got in on it and said that the book really, and this was a proven fact that came out. The publishers didn't think the book was scary enough and wanted them to embellish on some of the things that were going on in the book to make the book sell more, so that the publishers could actually make more money.
I did hear that, but there was also proof that George Lutz had a history of dabbling in the occult.
Yeah.
Okay. He constantly said, now whether this is embellished or not, constantly said that he would wake up every night at 3:15 in the morning, which is when the time of the murders took place. They had a priest come to the house, and the priest blessed the house, but he said that he could hear voices screaming, "Get out." Other paranormal, like the garage door opening and closing, invisible spirits knocking, a knife off the kitchen counter. They had a pig-like creature with red eyes staring down at George Lutz. Now, keep in mind, George Lutz, though, at that time, was extremely stressed. They had maxed out all their resources for financial to get this house. So, like, when they bought that house, they couldn't really afford the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he was extremely stressed, and stress plays on the mind, especially when you already know the history of the house.
Yeah, they went bankrupt.
Well, then if that you say stress on a house and everything else, then it explains everything I do in my life about it. Yeah, that's about right.
But I mean, he was stressed out, and they had already known the history, so I believe that they may have embellished it, yes. But when the priest was interviewed, because he was interviewed, not just by the Lutzes, but he was actually interviewed from the Warrens, and the priest is telling you that he's hearing voices. I don't think that was embellished.
I can't be sure of that because, it was Ed and Lorraine. They had something in on the book. They profited off the sales of the book as well. Maybe not monetarily, but I mean, if Ed and Lorraine wasn't in Amityville horror, would anybody know who the hell they are today? Think about it.
Well, I mean, George and Kathy Lutz took a lie detector test to prove their innocence, that they weren't lying, and they passed it.
See,
now, mind you, that stuff doesn't hold up in court.
Yeah,
no,
I heard it came back inconclusive. They couldn't prove
That's
it
what I heard, yeah.
According to all of the files that I've seen, they passed it.
Now, do you believe that sometimes that people, even in movies or this situation and everything else, that mental illness sometimes can get mixed up with actual paranormal?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it is very possible.
Another thing that caught my attention, before all of this happened, do you think that they left all the possessions inside the house?
Well, according to the files, when the Lutzes left the house, they did leave everything behind. But it's also recorded that their lawyer that they had a falling out with because of money issues was also telling the media that all three of them came up with the horror story, basically having a bottle of wine, came up with this story, that way they could come up with the money to pay him.
And then they stabbed him in the back and took the money and run. Think about it.
Yep.
The sales from the book in 1979, when that book hit the shelves, it went viral. It was probably one of the first viral things out there. I mean, that book was flying off the shelves. I mean, flying. They must have made millions off of that one book. Millions.
Yeah.
If lottery for millions of dollars, wouldn't it be very easy to just walk out the door and say, fuck it, I'm going and I'm buying me a new house and buying everything brand new and all the old stuff, I just leave it behind.
Yep.
It'd be very easy to do. Very easy.
That it would, to leave all the old stuff behind.
Well, I mean, Ronnie DeVeo is serving 25 to life, okay?
For the murders.
He originally said he heard voices, okay, telling him to do the murders. But over the years, his story has changed multiple times. Okay, that house in February of 2017 sold for $605,000, which is $200,000 more than the original asking price. 4 families have lived there since the murder, and the current owners have actually changed the address from the original, which is 112 Ocean Ave, to 108 Ocean Ave, because they were being
altered the
harassed by
appearance
so
of the
much.
house. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually altered the appearance of the house so you couldn't tell it from the photos on the book cover.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I heard that there was things that people said in that house that literally the walls would be bleeding. I don't believe that. I believe that's fiction.
Well, I mean, in some paranormal investigation, there has been like bleeding walls. But I mean, you have to dig into that. If you've got old wood or mold, it's going to look like your walls are bleeding. You know what I mean? It does seep through that paint, through that drywall, and it will look like that. Now, some of them have actually been to the point where they can't debunk it because it looks like blood, smells like blood. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this house, I don't think that's the case.
I can honestly say for myself that I have been in probably hundreds of old houses like that, and never once have I seen the walls actually bleeding. I've seen things on walls that look like it may have been blood at one time.
Yeah.
But not where it was actually bleeding in front of my eyes and still wet or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you want to know, honestly, and sorry to get off the subject and sorry to get off the topic, but there's actually another story that's actually quite similar to that. But I looked up some of the files behind it, which was the haunting in Connecticut. There was not blood on that wall. There was actually human flesh coming out of that wall. But I still honestly do not believe that. But they actually honestly said the same thing, which is basically the same concept.
The haunting in Connecticut is completely different. Their whole thing was completely different. It used to be an old funeral parlor.
I'm going to get coffee.
And the guy that ran it at night would actually hold seances and basically dupe people out of their money. And it said that he burned it basically burned down, and they rebuilt. And supposedly the family that bought it had everything restored to the way that it should have been, and yada yada yada. While the son was deathly ill, and that was the only place they could afford to live. And it basically, they tried to say that what happened there was the son was so sick that his mental state was questioned, and they thought he was having like a mental breakdown, like schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's like a completely different case file. But there wasn't murders that happened there, but people did die, and there was, like I said, it was a funeral home.
Right. It's just
guys, tweet this out, share it out, and everything else. I put it on my community tab already, Joe. Just letting you know for Brian that we're live now. So, guys, make sure you're tweeting this out and everything else. Let's get as many people in there. This is a very cool subject. They get to, I don't know shit about, but they're actually entertaining me. But that's all right.
Well, I mean, you got to go through it. Like, there's been many, like the haunting in Connecticut and the Amityville, that have talked about bleeding walls and stuff like that. But how do you know who you can trust? You know, unless you see it yourself. How can you really know if these people are being honest or they're just trying to turn a buck?
And plus, on top of that, usually people think that they come out half crazy. You know what I mean? Especially they give you some type of drug or whatever the case may be, and people think you're crazy. Those type of people, honestly, who knows? they are the only ones that can probably see it when others can't. You know?
Well, I mean,
and that's the other thing too, is people that that are sensitive, mediums, and things like that. Back in the day when all those ones happened, were seen as mentally ill. So they would
Right.
treat them for mental illness when in fact they're actually seeing spirits or demons or whatever. And then when shit would happen that they couldn't explain, like crosses flipping upside down, people speaking languages they don't know, flying through the freaking air, climbing walls,
Walking on ceilings.
Yeah, crap you see
my
that
question is,
is physically impossible. Then they just go, oh, well, it's time to put them in a mental ward. You know what I
my
mean?
question is, how big of a son of a bitch did Robert DeFeo have to be to have his own children plotting his murder against him? I mean, I knew that he was an alcoholic. I knew that he had a car dealership. He was in the car business. He was in sales and things like that. I knew that he was abusive to his wife and his children, and especially the oldest daughter. Like, to forbid her from seeing this guy, and she said, "No, I'm going to see him anyways," and she like runs away, and he says, you can't never come back here again. You're not my daughter," you know. And then, of course, the son, he's moved out, but he's, the heir to the throne, so to speak. So he figures that he's entitled to the most, and he keeps coming back and needing money and needing this and needing that. And when daddy tells him no, he's going to throw a fit, and something like this happens. I mean, man, this guy.
It's a big history, man.
I mean,
like, there's a lot of things.
What kind of mean do you have to be to your kids to get them to plot your death?
Well,
what do you think's been happening on my channel?
That kind of mean.
Gotta have a little fun with you.
Like, who knows what they actually went through? You know what I mean? You only hear what reporters tell you or people that wrote books on it tell you. Unless you actually speak directly to the people, and 9 times out of 10, they don't tell you the truth because they don't want you to know the truth, especially if they committed it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yep.
So all you have to go on is whatever evidence was found or what was told to the police or the reporters. And you kind of have to draw from your own conclusion unless you're there.
Right.
Usually, especially when leaving all possessions there, you know what I mean? After all the activity happened, it usually all starts with cold spots, odors, and perfume, and
if you're trying
usually people sense that.
If you're trying to turn a buck,
that,
But this is the thing, though. If you're trying to turn a buck, you can make anything into your own personal horror movie.
This is true.
You know what I mean? Back in the 70s, there wasn't, there was special effects, but it wasn't like it is now. So, I mean, pulling it off back then is a lot harder than pulling it off now. So, the reports were like crosses turning upside down, walls bleeding, hearing screaming. At one point, there was word of that land and property being owned by a preacher that used to kill natives and drain their blood. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if that's the case and it was actually owned by natives at one point and then this guy took over and was murdering natives there, you could have some restless spirits. Very angry ones at that.
Yeah. So my question goes out to Ghost Mafia and Brian. It's Paranormal, of course. Would you guys be able to do, if you guys had the opportunity, right? Would you guys investigate the whole scene from where Amityville was mostly,
Hell yeah.
Listen, Brian's not listening, but I can answer for you. Yes. He wanted to know if you and Ghost had a chance to investigate Amity, would you?
Dang right I would. I'd go to the house.
Oh yeah.
Now, there has been reports of people that have gotten the chance to go and do it and have been so scared shitless by whatever's there that they literally took off. And one of the girls that actually spent the night there investigating before a new owner took over, she actually had a heart attack 2 days afterward, and she was healthy. She had a heart attack and literally died.
Yeah, she basically went there and did the investigation, then died like 2 days after.
Here's the thing with that, though. Okay, now obviously these investigators were somebody that knew the owners of the house. Okay, because like they have not let ghost hunters in there. They've not let ghost adventures in there. They do not let any media source type investigation unit go into that house. They have never done that. So for an investigator to go in, they must have been friends of the owners of the house and gotten special permission to go in.
This, from what I read, this was before anyone bought it. Kind of like a break and enter exploration kind of deal. You know what I mean? And the only reason it got publicized was the fact that the girl died 2 days later. Her friends went to the media and told them.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, that could be coincidental, too. We don't know how old she was. I mean, there's stranger stories than even that. I mean, look at King Tut's tomb. Everybody died. Everybody that entered that tomb died. In suspicious ways. Snake bites and all kinds of different things.
But isn't it funny? You know, and sorry to cut you off, Ghost. Isn't it funny how what's there to hide? I mean, why are they hiding, people dying and, that type of scenery? You know what I mean?
Honestly,
that's what we all want to find out.
I honestly think that when it comes to the Amityville house, it's a lot of hysteria built by the book, by the movies, and that alone will weigh on a person's mind whether it's real or not. And you know what the story is or what you've heard.
Yep.
And then you're all of a sudden given the chance to do this, or you break in to investigate it, and that shit plays on your mind. And no matter how fake it is, or how fake you know it is, you're still gonna your human brain is still gonna react the way as if it is that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually really it would honestly be a really good experience to actually feel that. You know what I mean? Because once you enter that type of scenery, you will honestly feel that heavy energy, and you will feel like something is being either pressed against your chest, or you are only beating. Your heart is beating like so slow, and it's not beating like it should. Especially when you have, when you feel that. You know what I mean? You feel that type of.
And that can also be the anxiety, though, Red, when you go into a place like that, because you know the history of it and everything else. Your mind can actually make your body feel things that you are thinking that, oh, I feel this heaviness on my chest because I entered somewhere or whatever. But if you already know the history of the house or whatever, sometimes your mind can actually overcompensate for that and make you believe things that are not there. That it's just all because of what you read and what you heard and everything else. I mean, do you honestly really believe now? I mean, if there was, like some people say, there was an evil in there and everything else, I don't care if you redid the house, no matter what, talking with you guys a lot up on your paranormal Thursdays and everything else, if it's in that house, you can change the look all you want. It's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, when you do a renovation on a house that actually is haunted, what happens is you stir up those spirits.
Yeah.
Whether they're good, bad, or whatever, you disturb them because you're taking something away. You're disrupting their resting. You know what I mean? And
now let's look at this from a scientific aspect too. You got to remember, this is an old turn of the century home as well. So back in the 70s, when this all went down, it probably still had the old knob and tube wiring in the house, which was open line strung throughout the basement and up through the walls, high EMF fields, and things like that, which can alter the effects of the human body as well. You can be hypersensitive to electromagnetic fields. It can make you do things like hallucinate. It can give you skin rashes, irritations, all kinds of stuff. It can affect you in different ways. Not to mention, in the 80s, this, like I said, this was an old turn of the century home on a waterway. You're going to have molds. You're going to have mold spores in the house that can make you sick, can make you ill, can drive you insane if it's the right type of molds. I mean, there's a lot of scientific factors that went into this as well.
And usually, sometimes the higher power, and what I mean by higher power means the dark, the night, right? Usually, all that activity happens in the night. So,
I mean, that's when people feel, not fear, but feel the most anxiety, because you don't know what's in the dark.
True.
That's a human reaction. It's human nature to fear what you don't know. And if you can't see it, your mind automatically tries to compensate.
And it plays tricks on you.
Oh yeah.
It really does.
And it's amazing what your mind can do.
Even during investigations, like, you can scare the crap out of yourself.
Oh, I guarantee you there isn't one single person in this chat that hasn't walked into a dark room and had a coat over a coat rack or something and just seen the shadow there and got freaked out at first, thought there was somebody standing there, and then realized, oh, it's just a coat. Son of a bitch. Why do I do that to myself? That's happened to everybody at some point in their life.
The thing I don't like, and hi everybody. I jumped on panel.
Hi, Annicky. How are you? Nice to see you again.
I think the only thing that freaks me out, and literally it freaks me out, is when something messes with you when you're sleeping, because you're defenseless, right? And so last night, and I know for a fact, when I went to bed, Jackson was covered in both blankets.
Yeah.
And when I woke up to wake, I get up like earlier than he does. So when I woke up and I looked at him, both of our blankets were pulled back. Like, he sleeps in a separate blanket. I sleep in a separate blanket. He doesn't like my blanket. I don't know why. Anyways, long story. But they were both pulled back at the exact same, end of the bed, right? But his blanket was wrapped completely around his neck, that I had to literally wake him up just to get it off of him. So to me, that's this thing that lives in my house. Because at this point, I'm not convinced it's a little boy.
Wow.
That I see. So that's what I don't like. You know what I mean? Because you can be scared by noises and cupboards opening and things flying off the shelves. But it's, to me, more scarier when it's happening to you at night when you're sleeping, because you don't know what they're doing to you. You don't know if they're in your face breathing on you.
Right.
Scratching you, hurting you. You know what I mean? Touching your hoo-ha.
Oh, they can touch my
doing anything.
I don't care, ghosts or not. That's perfectly fine. No problem.
That's my input on the whole,
Yeah. Hey, Casper.
Yeah, to everyone that's in the chat, guys, we're not trying to ignore you. We're just in the conversation.
Yeah.
And Rebecca said that she has researched a lot about the Amityville horror house, or the Amity house. So, she might have a lot to say about that matter.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she's in here anymore, though.
I just saw her not too long ago.
Who's that?
Rebecca.
Yeah.
I just got a notification. She just uploaded a video or something.
If you guys do need room or whatever, I mean, people that know a lot more about this, I can step out. If you need people up or whatever, because, like I said, I've watched the movie. Like I said, certain things me personally, I said it over and over again. I believe it was mental illness 100% all the way. But that's just my opinion. I don't believe that there was paranormal involved in this or any evil entity. I believe that it was more psychological and there was mental health issues badly involved in this. I mean, that's really all I can give on that matter of that house.
Now, mind you, we're going to keep it just what's up here for tonight. We don't want to get a rotating panel going on or anything like that. So if people have something to say, write it in the chat. Make sure that we can see it. If you guys got questions or you got something to say, make sure that we see it.
Oh yeah, we'll answer any questions that are in the chat or anything like that.
Are you serious?
I agree with Dad. I agree with Dad to a certain extent. I don't think there was anything paranormal leading up to the murders, but I'm not saying that after the murders, when the Lutzes took over the house, that there wasn't paranormal activity in the house. I'm just saying that it's nothing like what they portrayed it to be in the book, the movies, the sequels, and all the remakes.
I personally think, given George's connection with the occult, I think, and given the murders that happened there, I think he stirred shit up.
I do too.
And caused some paranormal activity. I do not think it's as bad as what they made it out to be, though.
Right. And that's just like the discussion we had the other night about comparing YouTube channels to actual television shows. Television shows will have to, at some point, start fabricating some of the stuff that you see on these ghost shows and things on there, because it's all about the race. They need to keep that audience if they want to keep that paycheck coming in and be picked up for another season. So they have to come up with something every once in a while. Otherwise, the show would get boring, stale, and the audience base would drop off, and they'd get kicked off the air.
Oh yeah.
Well, Michael Grooms says, I believe the physical and mental abuse is what could have possibly motivated for the killing. And very well.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the dad was a complete prick and abusive and a drunk, and damn right it would have.
Well, they put the way that he was in the actual movie that they made.
No, they didn't portray him that way in the movie.
Not at all.
The movie itself didn't really speak much of the DeVeos.
Yeah,
it gave you a short little snippet of what happened.
Yeah.
But it never told you about how the family life was before it happened.
Yeah, and it
was based mostly around the Lutzes.
Yeah, and then they claim that he used a shotgun in the movie.
He did. The killings were done with shotgun.
Actually, it was a 30-30 lever action. Marlin.
There you go.
Wow.
And again, sorry to get off the topic, but I'm sure you guys have heard this story before about I think it was on EVPs the other night. This was a while back. I think it was a few months back. I did have a paranormal experience, but this mostly happens in the nighttime, and this is when I'm mostly sleeping. Usually, sometimes, at times, I say around 2:30 my time, Central Time. Usually, I would have like literally a shadow. I don't know what to make of this, but usually I would wake up and I would see this face in front of me all the time while I'm sleeping. And I would wake up and I would see this face, and it would literally like press against my chest, so where I can't breathe.
Did it look like this? Okay,
nah, it didn't look like you, Ghost. Because you're actually much sexier than the paranormal.
Wow, this is just wow.
I'm not disputing that.
But yeah,
right,
usually
Dad.
Sometimes I would have that, like, like I feel like my energy is like being drained out. You know what I mean? To the point where I feel lightheaded as well. And that right there is just, there's no explanation for it. And usually it happens like every three times a month, every month. And I literally just can't explain it. I don't know why. I feel like it's giving me a sign telling me that, either I've forgotten something, or I feel like I'm just missing. I I honestly just can't explain it. It's really it usually frightens me at times,
Lady
but I
Swan.
feel like it is frightening at times, but I feel like it's just telling me that I forgot something. No, I just haven't discovered those answers yet.
That's the nicest ghost I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
To just show
That's
up and
really
remind
weird.
you that you forgot shit? Where the fuck is that for me?
Yeah. I want to be reminded.
So, I was reading one of Warsaw's comments in here, and he was telling Brian, he said, I've seen somebody mess with clay vases, I'm assuming, from China. He accidentally broke 3 of them, and it turned out they were spirit vases. And when they broke into pieces, he heard, this is part of it, he heard multiple spirit sounds and noises.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, see, this is the thing. Michael Grimm says his opinions are misjudged by some people. Everybody has their opinion. I mean,
Yep.
the way I see it is we're never going to get the full true story because the people that lived in the house aren't alive. The DeVeos aren't alive to tell you. You know what I mean? And the one that is alive ain't going to tell you.
And the daughter has since changed her name and moved away, and nobody knows where she is. She hasn't been contacted, hasn't made contact with anybody about the book or anything else. Like, she's literally slipped through the cracks, changed her name, moved away, and doesn't want to be bothered with this. She's not available for questioning, and just lived out her life as nobody you'd know, you know?
Oh, yeah. She changed her whole identity.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
I don't blame
Well,
her,
I mean,
but I mean,
I
if
feel
she got
like
a hand in the murder, she needs to step up. You know what I mean? Her brother's doing time for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this leads to the explanation is what are they hiding? You know what I mean? Like, you know, people want to know this. You know
I
what I mean?
really
It's
think
actually
that there
really
was.
interesting, in my opinion.
I'm thinking that there's more to the story with the daughter and the father. I'm thinking that maybe she had told her father that she was pregnant with this boy that she was not supposed to be around, and dad lost it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's more to it than that. I think that's probably why she moved away and changed her name and had the baby and is living out her life.
Yeah.
And usually it starts off good, and then all of a sudden it goes down here from there. And you know that's how most of the stories start. You know, it starts off good, living a happy life, and then all of a sudden it goes down. It goes down like a roller coaster, hella quick.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I was
according to
more.
the case file, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, who's to say the father didn't do something to the daughter, and that's why she hated him so much?
Yeah.
You know
That's a
what
possibility. According to the case file, when the bedroom door was open, the father woke up and supposedly he was shot at close range in the chest with the gun, like he had reached out and grabbed a hold of the barrel. And that's when the mother woke up. She was shot. One of the kids woke up. The kid was shot. They went in and killed the rest of the kids. And I don't know. I'm wondering if it wasn't the daughter that shot the father.
Yeah. To me, it almost sounds like a break-in type too.
Well, I mean, the theory is they were trying to rob the father. But
Yeah.
my thing is to shoot someone the way that he was shot shows emotion, not just oh he kicked me out, I hate him emotion. Like this scumbag did this to me, ruined my life, kind of emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then just pumped them.
Michael Grooms says I was at a buddy's house that his mom had passed in. It was like 85 degrees outside and 65 in the house. He said he was going to tear it down, and the temp dropped big time in the house.
Wow.
Lady Swan said, where'd it go? She said he could easily come forward. It's not like he's going to be recharged. But the thing is they would have to find the sister, and they would have to go all through that evidence again, you know? And that's kind of why I'm leaning towards maybe the dad did something to the sister, and that's why Ronnie doesn't mind taking the blame. He was trying to stand up for his sister.
Well, not only that, Ronnie had some of the problems that Ronnie had was he got in bad with a loan shark, and they wanted their money. That's why he was going after Dad for money. Dad turned him down, and well, I think him and his sister decided that time for Dad to go.
Yeah.
I feel like there was more people involved in the murders as well. I mean, there's got to be. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody's being left out. You know what I mean?
The boyfriend
doesn't
of the
seem right.
sister, who was
Guaranteed.
friends with Ron.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there was 3 of them in that house that night.
Well, there had to have been. Look at how the bodies were found.
Yeah.
None of the bodies had been moved from where they were shot. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. The person that made the 911 call that claimed to find the bodies was Ronnie. So they had time to clean up whatever they did wrong, dispose the guns, and then Ronnie pretended like he came home for a visit and found them all dead. And just an hour or so after the police had went into the house, they arrested Ronnie DeFeo.
Warsaw says, here's the question. Who murdered them? We just told you.
Yeah, probably Lady Swan. The murder was planned out way too good. Exactly, Michael Grooms.
Warsaw wants to know who murdered them. His own kids murdered him.
I want to say
and his family.
the daughter did the father in and then freaked out, ran out of the room. Ronnie covered it up by murdering the rest of them, and then the boyfriend that was there with them decided to dispose of the guns and everything.
Yeah, that's what I want to say too.
That would be my take on it.
I mean, they would have had plenty of time to remove,
Well, yeah, because it wasn't until the next. It wasn't until the next thing when Ronnie decided to, call in the 911 call saying my family's dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
guys, I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right.
He was trying to say that the father had mob ties because of his car lot. I don't know how true that is. So he was trying to make it look like there was a mob hit in the house.
I do too, the Daily D.
Yeah, the Daily D saying she's thinking the brother was protecting the sister.
I think so too.
A non-movie documentary that basically said the daughter was more involved.
Yeah.
I fully believe she was.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so too, but I think as an older brother, he just was like, you know what? My life's shit to begin with. I might as well, and especially if someone's after him. You know what I mean?
Right.
He owes people money.
Yeah, he's safer
better
in
to
jail
spend
than
your
on the
life in
street.
jail. It's way better to spend your life in prison if you've got people that want you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
We got to remember too. He's sitting in jail.
Oh yeah, he's
in order for the Lutzes to tell his part of the story. He has to sign off on that book. He has to sign off on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting royalty checks, even sitting in jail. Okay. So if one of these days he gets paroled, when he gets out, he's got plenty of money.
Yeah, he could basically buy that house again, redo it, and do whatever.
Well, unless his royalty checks are going to his sister.
Yeah, that could be too.
You know what I mean? It costs a lot to change your name legally and just start a whole fucking new life.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
New identity, fresh credit, everything else.
Well, that's what Lady Swan just said. She goes, she's either assumed a new identity or she passed away. He wanted her to have an out, and he was willing to pay the price. Well, and that's the whole thing. Is like the way that they painted him is that he was pretty much
the lone gunman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they painted him as a complete psycho, as like a misfit. You know, he was into this, into that, and why not take the fall, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. People have their opinion more so. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's got 2 dislikes on one of his videos already. He just uploaded.
Wow. Yeah.
You gotta dislike a video at least. Well, I mean, people have their own opinions. They don't have to tell you why.
Yeah.
People dislike us all the time.
Exactly.
It is what it is. Dad Amanda says, "Hey, lunatic dad." I don't know where that is.
Sometimes you got to take those 1 or 2 dislikes as you're doing something right,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody is envious of you and they didn't do as well as you did, so they're going to dislike what you did.
Yeah, see, Michael says the same thing that we've been saying. No one really knows what happened unless we were there and have went through it step by step.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, and that's the same
Well, I
with
do
a
know
lot
that
of these things.
the murder weapon that was used to kill all the family members was a 30-30 lever action Marling, but they had found empty shell casings from a 357. But they didn't find any bullet holes in the walls or anything like that from a 357. And as far as I know, they didn't find a bullet in any of the bodies from a 357. So I don't know where the shell casing from a 357 came from. But when they recovered those guns from the canal nearby, there was a 30-30 Marlin frame and an old 357 that they found. So,
and this is coming from Ghost Mafia, the expert with guns, by the way.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I'm damn sure knowledgeable about guns. I know my guns.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on a second.
Just got away.
Yeah, so what's everybody's take, since RK brought it up, on Connecticut? We've all seen the stories and heard. Or even I did see one comment in the chat a while back about the Exorcist house.
Yeah, Francis was asking about the Exorcist house. You know, I don't think the house itself was haunted. I think the person was haunted, hence the exorcism.
All About Vehicles says Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Yeah, we're talking about a haunting in Connecticut. Gotta go. All right, Warsaw, thanks for coming. Well, if you think of it this way, the 2 oldest kids have really gotten away with it, would have been the only surviving next of kin, and would have been up for any insurance, so just forget it. I don't know.
That's a good question.
That was from Lady Swan.
That's an interesting question. That's a possibility. She could have inherited the car lot, for that matter.
Have a good night, All About Vehicles. Gina says opinion on what? Just the whole case for, like, whether it's the Amityville or the Exorcist house or a haunting in Connecticut house. Possessed and whom? Exorcist. From what the story tells, she messed around with a Ouija board. Now, again, the problem is once these stories are made into Hollywood movies, you can no longer tell the real from the fake because they have to amp it up to sell the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, was it really that, or was it a mental illness again, or was it an attachment? I mean, they proved that she was one of the first exorcisms on record, but was it an actual needed exorcism?
Beat it, Dad. Smack it into submission. Yeah. Nick get truck your bitch.
Maybe that's the case. Lady Swan says she's holding out his half, so when he gets out, he's taken care of for taking the fall. But the thing is I don't think he'll ever get out. I really don't. Like, how much do you know, though, about the Exorcist story? Like, the actual story, not the movie.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he's up for parole in like 2022 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get it.
No.
No.
I'm up for parole too. Sorry, guys, I had to leave out for a while.
Oh, that's okay.
It's all right, Dad.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I got your approval.
You got other things to do, too.
I don't think he'll ever get out.
I don't either. He's a sitting duck in there.
Well, when you're born, we always want to get back in.
Yep.
Just saying.
One of those cases where they're going to look at his age, and they're going to look at him and say, "Okay, you're in your 70s now. Are you a threat to anybody at that age?" I mean, you know what I mean?
I see that, but I mean, at the same time, what's the chances of him really being able to? Because when he was put away,
yeah,
the world wasn't like it is now. You know, all he knows is the inside now. So, how is he going to function in today's society?
Parole board won't look at it that way. They'll be like, "Well, I don't think you're a threat to anybody. Here you go. You're free."
Yeah.
And then he's got to deal with that on his own on the outside.
Oh,
Most
man.
people that are a lifer and get out like that can't handle it on the outside after so long.
Oh, no, I know. There are a lot of people that are.
And usually, people when they come out of prison, they become monsters, even worse than what they once were.
Nah.
I don't believe that. And this is coming from someone who has family that has been in and out of prison and served time and shit like that for some pretty horrendous things. And they haven't become monsters.
Well, look,
I agree.
you got to look at it. If they would have paroled Charlie Manson in, say, like the early 80s, yeah, he could still be a threat. But if they would have paroled him right now and he walked up to me on the street and gave me that Charlie Manson stare, I'd slap the bitch right out of him. You know what I mean?
I disagree with you, Ghost. We both come back from them days of Charlie Manson. I disagree. Remember, it was his mind that got people to follow him and everything else. Charlie Manson, if he gets out now, he's got so much venom inside of him that he would still have a following and a cult following that would still follow him and do what he says, of admiration of what he represented in the past. I think, me personally, I know Charlie Manson needs to stay right where he's at.
I agree.
Charlie Manson's dead. He passed away a couple months back.
Yep.
Oh, well, then good. Well, then he wouldn't be a threat now, would he?
But he was in his late 70s. I mean, you know,
think about this.
I would have looked
wait. Think about this. Think about this, brother. I'm almost damn 60. Add 10 years to me. You think that I'm not going to be just as ornery or whatever the case may be in 10 years from now? As long as I got my health? No, don't go by the age, brother. Remember, 70s are today's 60s.
Yep.
Okay, have you seen recent pictures of Charlie Manson? He was this withered up shadow of a former man that he was. He was just a skin and bones.
Yes.
Wild.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
He didn't look like a threat to anybody. Like if he would have come up to you on the street and said, "I'm going to control your brain," I thought he was the old man that had dementia and be like, "Get out of here, old man." Kept on going.
No, well, you might say that, but there is people that were kids of the other kids that are coming up. They had kids and everything else and talk about Charlie Manson that may really still want to continue what he was. Hell, there's damn people that are in charge of other countries or whatever, old as hell. I mean, they ain't no threat to nobody or whatever, but what they represent and everything else is a totally different story. This man, I mean, He was plain evil. Charlie Manson was plain evil. He would be able to go ahead and talk women out of their shorts anytime he damn wanted to back in the day. And I still believe that if he wanted to now, but God rest his soul in hell, but plain and simple. Me personally, I mean, don't go by the age thing. You got to get that age thing way the hell out of there, because sometimes, you know, as you get older and everything else, people also will look at an older person more so because of the knowledge and experience they had in a certain subject in which you're dealing with. You know, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, his followers, even though he's gone, could still be a threat. But I'm just saying, him as a person, him as an individual being a threat to somebody in his failing health, which it was failing. And of course, it did fail because he's dead now. But, you know, if they were to parole him a couple years back when they were talking about actually doing it, I think he would have died even sooner on the outside.
I'm sorry to get off the subject, but Dad was very blunt about that. He said he wouldn't be a threat now, would he?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, I see what you're saying, Ghost. I do see what you're saying. But there are certain people in society that have that ability to influence others to do things that they normally would not do. You know, I mean, hell, it's here on freaking YouTube.
Exactly, yep.
Seriously, no shit. No bullshit.
It's all here.
No bullshit.
No, it's just that you were very blunt by saying that. You were like, he wouldn't be a threat now, would he? Savage.
I mean, now Charlie Manson wasn't a big guy at all anyways. He was only, in fact, when they caught him the last time, he was hidden inside of a cupboard under a sink.
He was a goofy bastard, though.
Bitch slapped the head off of RK. Charlie Manson ain't got a chance.
Yep.
Damn.
Damn right.
Yeah, RK could have been the spawn of Charlie Manson, actually, to come to think of it.
Yeah.
Head off of it.
Oh, man.
Well, Charlie Manson, he murdered people, didn't he?
Yes, right. He did it in
Yeah,
a roundabout way.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
right.
now, it was never proven that Charlie had ever actually murdered anybody.
Okay.
Yep.
He had given orders for others to do it. Now, that being said, some of the other people that was in his following said that he had murdered people. He just never got caught at it.
Yeah.
That I believe. With that demented fuck, without a shadow of a doubt, he killed. There ain't no doubt. I mean, some of the stuff that they did was just downright I mean, it's not even human. I mean, it's something that you would think you're in a horror story, something made up, that the shit wasn't even real. Yeah. That dude was, way out there. But then again, that goes back to, is that evil or mental illness?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when Charlie Manson, when he was first locked up, 5 or 10 years, you would think, man, this guy's pretty freaking smart the way he talks. And then all of a sudden he'd start making all types of, and he'd start doing shit like that on interviews, like he was nuts. I'm not kidding you. That's the way he did. And then he would make you think, he'd be like, well, you think I'm crazy, so I might as well act crazy.
Yep.
Oh my
He
God.
did that. He did. He absolutely did. All that 100% true.
Crazy. Yeah. I'm not kidding you.
There is a completely lucid handwritten letter from Charles Manson to the warden at the West Virginia State Penitentiary. They actually have it up on the wall in the museum portion of the West Virginia State Pen. You can see it to this day if you take the tour, where he is asking the warden permission to be transferred from where he was being held out in California to the West Virginia State Penitentiary so that he could be closer to his mother, who lived in McMecken.
Wow. That's all he really wanted, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, he was, like I said, there was no insanity to the letter. There was no crazy talk. It was a sincere, handwritten, request of the warden to let him transfer to this facility that's, only 10 miles away from me. so that he could be closer to where he grew up with his mother. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's insane. Like, to be put back where he grew up, that is like, isn't that where everything took place? So,
No,
No.
because he was raised by his aunt and uncle while his mom was serving time in prison for robbery.
well,
But prior to that robbery, yeah, he was from this area.
yeah.
Like John Wayne Gacy's from my home state,
Wow.
Illinois.
Illinois. That's insane.
Yeah, he's a crazy bastard too. Sick as
He
shit.
was.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer up in Wisconsin. He
Yeah.
was another nut. I mean, but that's where, you start asking yourself, is it evil or mental illness? Because some of this stuff that these guys do, is so planned out to where nobody's around, they know it and everything else. My thing is, if you got a mental illness and you're literally insane or crazy, you are not going to be able to plan out shit to where you get away with it for that long and nobody sees you and you got it all planned out. You just want to kill, in my eyes anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the case that I have followed for years that's most interested me is the Zodiac murders. And this is
Yeah.
one that they never caught the guy. Speculation that he moved away to another area and then continued doing it, and that the cases were just never connected. And he has gotten away with this since the early 70s, and it's still ongoing. It's still an open investigation. Ciphers and codes and all kinds of just different, like, weird things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to eat
But-
pizza.
The general consensus now is that he has actually passed away,
I don't want to eat pizza.
and
I do.
we'll never find out.
True.
Or
Yeah.
the DB Cooper hijacking. There's another one. Never caught. Still an open case file with the FBI, and they never caught the hijacker. You claim to be DB Cooper, and by now he's probably has passed away, and nobody will ever know.
Yep.
See, we have intelligent people up here, and then you got me and Red that are making little private jokes with each other. This is funny shit. I love it. You guys are the smart ones. Me and Red's acting like clowns. Right, Red? It's okay, though.
I just find it hilarious, man.
It's all right.
Hey, we got to bring a little bit of freaking,
You got to bring a little something, right?
Whoops, sorry,
Yeah.
I had a burp in your ear.
It's okay.
I just got done having a delicious pizza, man. A deep dish. Shut up, Red. See, Red's always. Oh gosh, you're sick. You got a sick mind.
Yeah, he does.
Rebecca Joyce said the Oklahoma bombing. She wasn't there when it happened because she was older, but the building that the bombing was at was her daycare center when she was a little girl.
Yeah,
Oh Lord,
that is crazy.
that is. That's knuckin' fucks. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smoky baloney.
Yeah, like eventually I'd like to go and do the Amityville horror house. Or the Amityville house.
I would like to do that
Girl
because
Paranormal.
I'm not scared.
Hold on, though. So, you guys were saying that he was sentenced to 25 to life, right?
Yep.
He's serving 6 consecutive life sentences. And
Yeah, he'll never get
every
out.
time he's been up for parole, he's been turned down.
Yep.
The last
Right.
time he tried was in 1999.
Yeah, he ain't getting out. He'll never get out.
Like I said, if they ever let him out, it'll be because of his age and failing health, and they won't think that he's a threat to society. That'll be the only reason he ever gets out.
Yeah, then he comes out and starts murdering more people.
By that time, he picks up a knife and breaks his hip. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's life, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That's some crazy shit right there, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Country Girl Paranormal says, I like the mystery of the mansion Rose Red. Now, that was a mini series by Stephen King. It was like a 4-part mini series made for television movie, and it was based on the Winchester Mystery House.
Yep. The Winchester Mystery House. That thing was crazy.
Now, Winchester Mystery House, of course, her husband died, the founder of Winchester Firearms, and she got in with the psychic who basically was taking her for all her money and telling her that she needed to continue to build onto this house, because if she ever stops building on the house, the spirits of every person who has ever been killed by a Winchester rifle will come back and haunt her.
Yeah.
So the construction on this house never ended until the day she died. She just kept adding on and adding on, room after room, staircases that went to nowhere, doors that opened up to empty walls. Just anything to keep building on this house.
Hey, Ghost, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
How in the hell you got so much damn knowledge? It's unbelievable. I know shit. I'm not trying. I'm really actually asking a real question. You got a lot of knowledge on a lot of this shit.
Yeah, he does.
You heard him and JoJo. They have a lot of knowledge.
For a long time.
Evidently, I'm sitting there driving my truck and I'm just listening to you. It's like I'm reliving the damn story or movie or whatever, just listening to you guys. Pretty cool shit.
What?
No, I love Freddy Krueger's and Jason's and mute, Annihilation and stuff, Brutality, the young girls back in the day when Jason came up, when he did the Friday the 13th Part 1 and stuff. Yep. Man, they showed boobies and everything else. I was like, whoa, this is good shit.
Yep.
Having a horror flick with boobs.
I mean, I can tell you the whole history of Freddy and Jason and them too. I mean, Freddy Krueger started out as a janitor in a school, worked in the boiler room. First murder was actually 4-year-old Virginia Cross, and
so that was completely wrong. Eh? Did you know about that?
What, the Freddy Krueger?
No.
Freddy
Krueger? I was
reading
something. Oh. No, reading something on Ronnie DeFeo.
Ronnie DeFeo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you know that the dealership was his grandfather's? And it was not given to his dad. It was given to Ronnie. But his dad tried to have Ronnie committed to a psych ward because he was getting violent, because he was getting bullied at school when he was younger for being overweight.
So that's what started it all.
So his dad basically took the dealership away from him.
Well, hold on.
He took his toys.
When he decided that he wasn't going to go to any more of the therapy sessions, the parents decided to buy their way into it to get the dealership. And they would buy him speedboats and pay him even though he wasn't going into work and give him $14,000 a week and shit like that.
Yeah.
So he could pretty much do what he wanted. Well, by the age of 17, he turned to LSD and heroin, became violent, got kicked out of school, and then his dad took the dealership saying he wasn't in his right mind and signed Ronnie's name to the ownership of that dealership.
Wow.
And they're thinking that's what triggered the murder.
Yeah, that probably did.
So then it's not evil. It was a mental illness. And the way he was treated when he was younger might have brought a lot of this anger issues out of him, correct? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, maybe.
Guaranteed.
Mm.
I still there's that. There's more to the story with the sister too. If you look up the history on the oldest sister, there's more to that too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more to that too. Some of the stuff that's read on that, oh my god.
Well, let's see, you're talking about paranormal and you're saying God in the same sentence. That's an oxymoron, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I got this one guy at work. Every time he sees me, he's subscribed to me, and he's always comes up to me. Hell yeah! I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? He's like, isn't that your saying? I'm like, yeah, but dude, I'm at work. Yeah, he just comes right up to me every day when we start work because we both start at the same time. Hell yeah! And he'll do it like behind me where I sometimes don't see him, and I'll fucking like, flinch a little bit when someone yells and it surprises you. Yeah. And I'm like, can you quit doing that? He's like, no. Like, okay, you're a freak.
There's another twist, though. That friend that everybody thinks helped him commit the murder helped him rob the dealership after his dad took the dealership from him.
There you
and
go.
then when the cops questioned him and wanted them to come in to compare the mugshots, he refused and exploded, like, in anger. Like, exploded. So his dad was, said that he was a suspect because he believed that he committed the robbery. When he questioned his son about the lack of cooperation, that's when Ronnie threatened to kill him.
Wow.
Right to his dad's face. Threatened to kill him.
Damn.
One great big dysfunctional family.
Oh yeah, dysfunctional big time.
I thought my family was fucked up.
I don't think he was hearing voices. I think he was hearing the dollar signs calling his name.
Yep.
All the murders took place within 15 minutes. He then showered, dressed for work, collected his bloody clothing and the murder weapons and pillowcase, dumped them down the storm drain, and went to the dealership for 6 a.m. to work.
Wow. Right after murdering his dad.
Yeah, he said upon arriving at work, Butch called home pretending not to know why his father hadn't shown up, saying he was bored around noon. He left work and spent the day with his friends, attempted to secure an alibi by telling each of the people he visited that he couldn't seem to reach anyone at home, and at 6 p.m. he called a friend in mock surprise saying that someone had broken into the house and shot his family.
Wow.
This is a story that he told.
Yep.
But they never recovered the guns from any storm drain.
No, this is the story of what had happened. So this wasn't something he told. This was like his biography that was done up by police reports and himself and everyone else. So it's bits and pieces from everyone, not just him.
Wow.
Why would they say the guns was never recovered, although they knew that the murders had been done with the Marlin 30-30 rifle.
Yep.
Well,
and
first,
he actually owned that particular model, and they found the box for the rifle in his closet.
Hold on, listen though.
The rifle was.
Listen, he wasn't placed under arrest what many people thought that night. What had happened was they put him in protective custody first to look for the suspects. Okay? After that, the police did a careful search of the DeFeo home, and Butch's testimony, because that was his nickname, Butch, began to crumble, finding an empty box from the 35. Okay. What else did they find? Gave authorities a chance to pause and actually put the timeline together, and it seemed more realistic that the murders happened early in the morning. The family had all still been wearing their pajamas, so it couldn't have happened earlier in the day, placing Butch at home at the time of the homicide.
Wow.
His trial didn't begin until October 14th.
That's crazy.
So they basically took him in for questioning and put him in police custody under protection, and then never let him go.
Exactly. They put him in custody, police protection. They didn't put him on trial for the murders until a year later.
A year later, they found out he did it.
Because they had to piece it together.
Wow. So he was a free man for a year.
Are you guys done Googling all this information?
Wow. Oh.
Yep, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Google and I'm listening to you guys talk. I'm like, wow, you guys are copywriting. I see.
Yeah, only if you read it word for word, and technically it's plagiarizing.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference.
I think they did that too, Lady Swan. They put the sister in protective custody as well.
They're not mentioning anything about the sister.
At all.
Nope.
I tried to put Red in protective custody. No one would take him.
Neurotic. According to the psychiatrist, he was neurotic and suffered from dissociative disorder.
Yeah, that's what I figured. There ain't no evil there.
Personality disorder.
Now, do you believe when someone does that they can be, that evil can be spawned from that? I don't know how to say it. Like, he did it because he's fucked up in the head and mentally ill and everything he did. But after he did the act, do you believe evil spirit now is there?
Sorry, I am listening. Go ahead.
No, that's the best I got. I ain't got nothing no more.
I believe it's possible.
Hmm.
I don't know what anyone.
The Carla and went and killed the.
You did not kill your bear. You did not mess with the bear. Bear
could
had
have
nothing
Michael
to do with
Grooms could have took the fall for it. Makes you wonder.
I still wholeheartedly believe that the sister was involved in some fashion. The friend was definitely involved in some. I think there was 3 of them in that house that night.
I do too. And like Lady Swan said, I think the sister somehow managed to disappear.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I also agree with JoJo. I think there could have been, some late night sneaky father stuff going on there that deep-seated resentment from the daughter, and she thought she was in at the time, but
yeah.
Thanks a lot, Canadians, for this messed up weather down here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dad.
Suffering too.
I appreciate it. Bastards.
Better to be a bastard, I guess.
Hey, you're making me laugh, man. Shut the hell up.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Zero snow. And they did say, it was funny, I was watching that on the news. They actually did say it's coming from Canada. And the first thing that popped in my head was, JoJo and Brian, damn you.
Yep. Thanks, Dad.
Seriously, I'm not kidding you. You guys gave me this shit. Kind of, as long as you didn't give me the crabs, we're all right.
No, that's our case department.
Yeah, it's our case department, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that's true.
We do have to say this, though. Everything that we're talking about when it comes to this case and any other case is just our opinion. It's just speculation, guys, based off of stuff that we've read.
Yeah. It's not, we don't know if it's a proven fact or what it is.
Exactly.
Polly want a cracker? That's proven fact. That's proven fact.
God.
I'm just saying. It's true.
Yeah.
Parrots like crackers.
Lady Swan says it's only going to get worse next week, Dad.
Yep, Wednesday, minus 45. Dad looks like he's going to have a snow day. Whoop, whoop. Maybe we live stream on somebody else's channel, not mine, though. Oh,
dang right.
I don't want to do it. Not interested.
It's all speculation based on case files. Exactly, Lady Swan, that's what it is. So, I know there was a lot of talk about it when it first happened, too. It hit the news books everywhere.
I believe that. I believe this. I just remember watching the movie, and it freaked the hell out of me. That's all I can say. I thought that movie was downright, again, you know, you're thinking it's a movie. It's made up. You got actors. You got this and everything else. And I still, to this day, you know, now I don't believe all that damn evil shit and everything else. I just believe, the guy was fucking nuts, and he went on a killing spree. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And they made it into a movie, and people made a lot of money off of it, and, you know, that's it. That's my opinion. Now, you know, other people that do the paranormal, maybe they go in there or whatever, like you guys were saying earlier about that they had someone come in there or whatever, you know. Maybe they investigated and proved that there was something that's not of this world, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't really know a lot about that stuff, so that's why, you know, I just like to kick back and listen to you guys. Huh, it's kind of fun. Once in a while, I'll just say, "I want a cracker." That's all. That's all I got. That's all I can offer. Probably want a cracker. That's it.
Yeah, the odd time I'll sit there and I'll kind of get the vibe from JoJo and just kind of go with it. Hey, Exploring Ginger, welcome.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely gotta just go with what Joe says. I mean, hey, all these crazy ass movies, and she knows so much shit about them. Brian, just be careful. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Don't piss that damn woman off.
Could be a conspiracy happening.
Hell yeah, you might be part of the next damn great movie, but
Damn
you won't be able to see it.
Damn.
Yeah, that ain't right. That wasn't right for me to say that at all. That's horrible.
It's true.
It was a really effed up situation about the murders. I agree, Michael Gurms. Fully.
The sequel, JoJo kills Brian. Dun dun dun.
See, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was paranormal when he did the murder. I think that whatever the Lutzes did triggered something. I think the murders triggered something.
Yeah.
But I do not think it was that bad.
Yeah.
I think they fed off of propaganda.
Yeah, I do too.
This will be a public service announcement. Anybody interested in donating to Brian's Paranormal channel but via PayPal, feel free to go ahead and drop a link for him, mods. I can't see nobody. And if you want to see more Brian and everything else, feel free to go ahead and drop down on his PayPal. Couple dollars, which buy him a cup of coffee. Make it rain. Thank you very much. That'll be the end of the public service announcement provided to you by Lunatic Dad. Have a beautiful night.
Hold on. You forgot, Dad. When you're doing a public service announcement, at the end of it, when you say it's brought to you by you have to be like, don't forget, check out Lunatic Dad's latest video.
Dang right, his 15K giveaway video.
That plug in there somewhere.
I watched it.
No, I left that for you. Thanks, Joe, for shouting it out for me. I appreciate that. Kyle, he did a fabulous job on the editing on there. A lot of people didn't even see a lot of the editing, but he did a very good job.
He did.
You know those F-bombs and swear words you were dropping in the announcement?
Them weren't F-bombs. I was actually saying something else, and Kyle was like, I'm going to bleep it, and I bet you I'm going to get people to believe that you're saying the F word. I was like, they're not that stupid. And now, look, you just said I dropped an F-bomb. So I guess Kyle was right, Ghost. Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dad, Becky says she loves you.
Becky loves me?
Yep.
Well, why blow me down? This is freaking awesome. Someone actually loves me. I don't get much of that, guys.
You're an asshole.
No, I am a whole ass. I'm not just an asshole. I'm the whole ass.
No, right now you're just a hole.
He's the ass of the ass.
You might want to start getting juiced up and, end the stream, start another one. I'll have no problem with dusting your ass. Because you're starting to get me a little primed here, and that's not good.
There's so much wrong with
yeah.
I got to save my voice for tomorrow, guys. Come on now. You guys got to be gentle to that. Be gentle.
All right. I'll be gentle.
Okay, fine. We'll use lube when we shove it up your ass tonight.
Oh, wow. Wow, now she's shoving things up my ass. Hey, Joe, Why is your tongue damn split in half? I actually used lube. I put it on your tongue. It shouldn't have split. I'm sorry, dear. My bad.
It's split in half so I can cradle.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Listen, this isn't
you're
age
demented.
restricted, and you're being horrible.
I am not. Who's the one that's bringing it out? You. Talk about the paranormal and some guy chopping some damn people's head off and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drum up the conversation about freaking haunting in Connecticut or the exorcism, and nobody's joining in. So
hey guys, in the stream, I'm gonna make this funny. In the stream, you want to hear paranormal stories? Put 1. Or do you want to hear a roast? Put 2. Count them up. Tell me who's gonna put it.
Can't do a roast on Brian's.
I didn't say on Brian's. I'm just saying on anybody's. It doesn't matter whose.
God damn it, man! It's like
I'll do it on yours. Your penis. Oops, my bad.
Did you just call me a penis? You
it just slipped. Sorry, darling. It's just I'm so used to talking a certain way.
Yeah, see, they're all saying paranormal.
Hey, Andrew and Xavier.
Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky? They all said paranormal.
Yep.
But that's only because they're like, well, if we say the other thing, people are going to think down of us that we're like sick, demented people that we want to hear crazy, sick shit. I don't blame you guys in the chat. I don't blame you for trying to hide the identity of yourself and everything. It's all right. It's all right.
Oh
my god.
Oh boy.
Oh man, yeah.
See, I think when we go visit Dad, we need to find some haunted places in Dad's town.
Yep, and bring Dad along with us so he can experience it.
Yeah.
I do have one,
when
the
you go and
Resurrection
visit
Cemetery.
Dad, I think when you go visit Dad, you should prank him and set off one of those fart bombs in the cab of his truck.
Nope. We already have something planned.
Really?
Me and Dad already have something planned.
Yep. But no, there ain't no damn fart bomb going in my damn truck. Don't even think about such a thing. that would be just downright wrong.
About Dad, the smell coming out of that cab.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
I never said I was paranormal. I said I'd like to learn and hear your guys' stories. It intrigues me. I know shit about what the hell you guys are talking about.
Well, we'll take you on an investigation.
Yeah, and so then I get scratched up like you? The freaking things love to come by you and attack.
I want to hear you scream, "Oh, hell no," and run for your life.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, wow. She went there. No, I'm not going to run for my life. I'm fine. I'm not a sissy. Wait, I'm a coward, but I'm not a sissy, though.
Yeah, until something grabs you.
Run away, run away, run away.
Say, please, take me away.
Go away.
I'm scared.
He'll be yelling, "Can't you take RK or Brian?"
Nope. Gotta take Dad, and he's gotta take it dry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See that? You definitely are hillbilly. No doubt about it.
Dang right.
You're a hickabilly.
Bobby Mackey. Yeah. A lot of people have asked us to go to Bobby Mackey.
Yes.
We just gotta have the funds to go there.
When we go to Bobby Mackey's.
When you guys come out by me, I know you guys look this up. You actually see it on Google. Go ahead and look it up. Any of you guys, even on the panel or inside the chat, look up Resurrection Cemetery in Justice, Illinois.
I think I've heard about it.
That is very, very interesting. Just look it up. We have many people in the town and everything else have said that there is high activity in there.
Yeah.
I mean, people be talking about some weird stories that they go at night to go visit their loved ones, and all of a sudden something will go ahead and like push them over, or lights that were like candles that were off automatically all of a sudden light up, that they've witnessed, that they said they all lit up around the surrounding area that they were. I was like, well, you're pissing off the dead. Huh, what do you think? They don't want you there. They're like, get the hell out of here. We're trying to sleep.
Either that or it was sundown and there was those solar lights.
No, candle, dude. Candle. Solar lights. No. Well, then you never know, though. It could be. Who knows? But
We go and do this. I'm gonna do a live stream there, and we'll see if the candles ignite.
I would love for you to get turned upside down and get your ass patted right real hard by a ghost. I'll laugh. I'll laugh so hard.
What? I take offense to that because it won't be his butt that gets that. It'll be mine.
Yep.
It's always me that gets picked on.
Yeah, well, shit, we put you upside down. That damn ghost can be pedaling for a long time to hit every spot on that ass. Whoops, sorry, my bad. I shouldn't have went there again.
Listen. There's one thing that I have to say, okay? If it happens, I have a request.
Yes.
You need to make sure you have the cameras rolling, because if the ghost picks my fat ass up and can carry me around, that is a feat in itself.
I'm going viral. I'll be like, thanks, Joe. You just made me a millionaire. I appreciate that, sweetheart. Then she'll just look at me and be like, fuck you, asshole. I'll be like, whoa, that's not Joe.
I'll be looking
what the hell?
You, and I'll be like, where's my cut, bitch?
Don't worry, you'll get 10% of it.
Ryan, when you come here, I'm going to throw JoJo over my shoulder and walk around the yard. That way she can say she was picked up by a ghost and carried around.
Yeah.
If you can carry my ass around, I will be astonished.
That is awesome. That is awesome, Ghost. I like the correlation on that. That was good.
Eric, if you want me to subscribe, I'm not signed into my account right now. I'm signed into Brian's. So what you need to do for me is go to today's live stream, leave me a comment, and I will get it after the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, and make sure you're over 18, otherwise you can't come into some of her live streams because she's like got a potty mouth.
Oh, yeah.
I get it from you.
We're going to put soap in her mouth and make her gargle.
Yep.
Is it just me, or did that sound wrong?
It did sound wrong.
Yeah.
I did that. That sounded wrong.
I never promised you a rose garden now.
I beg your pardon. Where's the sunshine with this?
I'm signing off. Screw you all.
Joe says, you all kiss my ass.
His ex-wife up a ladder on his one foot. Yeah, Lady Swan, I'm like 300 pounds. So if you can lift my ass, I'll be surprised.
My ex-wife was over 400.
Yeah.
When I did that.
How long ago was that? Because you're pretty old now.
Well,
if it came down to it and I absolutely had to do it, I could. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, he was a firefighter and everything else, so he's used to picking things up and everything. He knows how to the technique.
Well, I guess he's got to be to get used to picking up the hose.
What I had to do to pass the fire exam was one of the things was take a 300+ pound person, firemen carry them up a ladder, lock in on the ladder, unlock on the ladder, and carry them back down successfully. Yeah. So, yeah.
Damn. Well, Joe, when you do come, I'll make sure that I put a little bit extra water in my fucking pool so that when you jump in, that I still gonna have some left.
Oh, you geriatric fuck! I'm putting you in.
Joe's like, oh man, wrong stream.
It's awesome.
No. Lady Swan's like, Brian, are you calling me a hoe?
No, Lady Swan.
He said that he has to be able to do it to carry his hose.
Yep.
Not a hoe.
Are you calling me a hoe?
Ghost has to be able to lift his hose all day long, you know.
Not hose as in like get on the street corner, but hose as in like put out the fire.
Put out that fire.
Oh God. Oh.
or spray some of that dynamite on Lady Swan.
Okay.
No.
I think we need to get off here.
I do too.
Oh my god. Well, it's
All
your
right. You guys, we're going to end this now. It's been a couple hours.
Yeah, we kind of went off topic right now.
Yeah. Called that a blueberry with waffle.
No, I didn't. What I called him was a geriatric fuck, and I told him I was putting him in a home. That's what I called him.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Lady Swan. Okay, it's time to end this now. Oh.
We'll say your goodbyes and thank everyone. Don't
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. James the Sharpshooter, thanks for dropping
That
all the
sounded dirty
links.
too.
Right?
Andrew and Xavier, no.
We have to.
We have to. It's gonna get pretty bad. So, we'll end up.
Brian is the host at the orgy tonight, and now everybody's done and leaving. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Come on.
Yep. All right, good. I gotta work in the morning. All right, Lady Swan. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for coming in. Much love to all of you. I want to thank Lunatic Dad and RK, Ghost Mafia, and Jojo for being on here to help me out with this. And Aniki as well.
Yeah, don't thank me. I suck.
Aniki seemed like she was all freaked out or something when she left. She was like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I'm gone.
Later, Country Girl, Paranormal, thanks for being here. I want to thank Mods and that for dropping links. James the Sharpshooter, thanks, man. And that's all I gotta say. If you guys want to say your goodbyes.
Well,
love y'all.
There is Lady Swan's telling Ghost to go to bed. So, Ghost, I think she wants you to go to bed and punch her in the face.
Giggity, giggity.
Giggity,
giggity. And seriously, for the giveaway,
thanks over. I'll be in there in a second. Thank you.
I do have my giveaway, guys. Just letting you know who didn't watch that video. The giveaway, there's 5 Funko Pops, and one of the Funko Pops is a 20-year edition. It's 20 years old. So just letting you know. So if you want to go check it out on my channel, go enter to win. There's going to be 5 winners. It's already up. So if you haven't entered already, go over there and enter. And I'll be live streaming tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time. Dad is going to go live. So, yeah, that's all I got. Love y'all. Bye.
And don't forget, if you really, really want to see roasting going on between Dad and somebody, Dad is going to be battling Dave, the producer, that's Miranda Lambert's husband, on Takeover Tuesday this week.
Juliet Miranda, not Miranda Lambert.
Did I actually say Miranda Lambert? I'm sorry, I misspoke to myself. Juliet Miranda. That's right.
It'll be like Dave the producer, producing lamb chops on Juliet's inside.
On that note, guys, thank you for coming.
Good Lord.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. RK, say goodbye.
Bye.
Well, fuck you, RK. Bye.